Hey everybody, welcome to Revitalise Meets, where I get the opportunity to meet with business owners, key influencers, and business entrepreneurs from across the globe. And today I've got the great pleasure to be with a lady who's got over 28 years experience in business and 8 years for running her own business, being the pitch and presentation specialist and the founder and owner of the Red Effect. Can you please welcome with me today the one, yes, but the only, Mel Sherwood. Mel, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. It's great to be here.
You're more than welcome. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Revitalise Meets. We spoke about it a lot over the years, and it's great to get the chance to actually invite you to come along and have a great conversation with me this morning. So thanks very much for that. So Mel, can we first of all start by you telling everybody who's watching and listening to us today a little bit about your business journey and where you are at present, where you've been to get you to where you are right now?
Sure. Okay. So the short story, I actually studied performing arts. And so I worked as an actor and singer. And then I also, alongside that, worked in business because as an actor, you don't always make your full living from that. So I had some really great opportunities in different kind of communication type roles, marketing and that sort of thing. When I moved to Scotland about 16 years ago, and as about maybe 10, 12 years ago, I fell into a job in learning and development, which I really loved, and did that for a while. And then I felt like it was time to move on, and I'd always wanted my own business. So I came up with the idea for an online platform for the performing arts industry. And I wanted an online business, and I thought this was the perfect thing. So I pitched it to a startup accelerator. And they said to me, look, we're not really sure about the idea, but we like you. Come on the program and prove to us that it's feasible. So on the Friday, I left my job in learning and development, that lovely, safe, secure job. And on the Monday, I started in the business accelerator. And then I started researching whether it was a good idea or not. And what I found was that everybody loved the idea. They thought it was a great idea. It just had one major flaw in it, and that was that no one was prepared to pay for it. So I suddenly went, oh, this whole business idea that I had was a bit rubbish in the end. But there was one saving grace, and that was that I was really good at pitching the idea. So lots of people kept asking me, could I help them with their elevator pitch? And I found that I had a bit of a superpower in terms of being able to simplify complex businesses and that sort of thing. And it really grew from there. I had an opportunity to pitch at an event in Glasgow in front of 600 people, and I got my one of my first clients who saw me pitch and got in touch and said I need some help. And I was sitting at a table with some people from Scottish Enterprise who asked me to they had a tender out, and they said, look, we think you should be in the mix of this. And then I won that tender. So I started working with Scottish Enterprise and delivering some training around Scottish Edge funding. So it's really just grown, and over the last 8 years, it's just grown and grown and grown. And I work with individuals as well as organizations. I work with universities, lots of stuff around startup businesses and that sort of thing, but also helping people. A lot of my individual clients who come to me actually are people who have got to a certain point in their career and realize that their lack of confidence in terms of presenting in front of people is holding them back. They're missing out on opportunities and missing out on promotions and that sort of thing. So I have a real mix of clients. And as I said, I do coaching on a one-to-one basis. I work in organizations, and I do speaking at events and share my messages that way.
Brilliant. And I think it's important when you talk about confidence in delivering your pitch, people forget about that so much. And it's about sort of infusing that. We talk about the impact that you make. It's that first impression that people normally get when they're chatting to people either online or in face to face. Hopefully that'll come back at some point, somewhere around the corner. But thanks for sharing that. Now we talk about achievements and we talk about challenges that you've overcame and understand the reasons why they were put in place and how you really got past those. But I noticed there's a great achievement you got as a Business Book of the Year finalist, and that was for the Authority Guide to Pitching Your Business. So congratulations on that. So how did that come about, and what's been your biggest achievement? How did that come about in general?
Well, I joined the Professional Speaking Association quite early on in my business journey. And the advice was always, you need to have a book. A book gives you credibility to, in terms of your expertise and sharing your expertise. And I had an opportunity to write The Authority Guide to Pitching Your Business. This is the book. It's just a wee book. And it's part of a series. The Authority Guide series is a series of books to help small business owners, people who don't have a lot of time to read, but you can grab all that you need in a short sort of 18,000 word book. And there's various different topics around, I don't know, engaging your team or mindfulness. Like there's a real mix of things. So when I had the opportunity to write this, I thought, oh my goodness, that's great. I'll take that on. And the tagline, the strapline is how to make an impact and be remembered in under a minute. And it really is focusing on sort of I talk about two types of pitches. So the first one is your conversational pitch, which is the really short answer to the question, what do you do? So that bit where you say that and it makes sense to people and they say, oh, that's interesting, tell me more, or that's interesting, oh, I know someone who needs you, that kind of thing. And then the other sort of longer elevator pitch, your 30 to 60 seconds or whatever. So I wrote the book and that was fab, and I felt like that was a pretty cool achievement. And then it actually had an opportunity to be entered into the awards. My publisher got in touch and said, look, we want to enter yours. And there was two others from this series, and there's about 20 in the series, I think. So even just being selected from one of the books from in the publisher's eyes, that it was worthy of being entered into these awards, I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then and it actually became a finalist in the Selling Your Dream category. And so, but it was up against some incredible books. So I'm, never really thought that it would win, but to be a finalist was just a really lovely, I don't know, it just confirmed that it was a useful book for people. So I was really pleased. And I had the opportunity to, go down to London to the awards and, meet lots of folk there. And yeah, it was great. Really, really pleased.
I think many people that people say they've got a book in them somewhere,
Yeah.
shape or form for what they're doing. I think it's a great achievement to get that, to think of the idea, then put it into paper and then actually deliver it. I can see it on the back parcel shelf there as well for.
Oh yes, I forgot that was there. Yeah.
Perfect advertisement as well. So if you're watching, have a look at the book as well and check it out. Thanks so much for sharing that. Now, it's been a bit of a challenge over the last 12 months. We've had many things going on. How have you adapted, for people watching and listening again, how have you adapted your business? How have you adapted your route to destination and what you're trying to achieve with your business right now, Mel?
Sure. So what happened for me, because most of all of my work at the time was face-to-face. I was in organizations delivering training. I was working one-to-one with people. So gradually, over a period of a very short time, like a week or so, every single piece of work was cancelled or postponed. And I know that a lot of people at that time were getting very stressed about that. And there was a lot of noise online, and people are pivoting and getting their stuff online and telling me, you should get your stuff online. You should offer free webinars for your clients. You should do this, you should do that. And there was so much noise. And I was close to burnout at a time. And the universe had been nudging me for quite a while to take a break. And it suddenly dawned on me that this was my perfect opportunity to take a moment, take a breath and think and rethink things and just, review where I was at and have a bit of a break. Because I thought, if any time that was a good time to take a break, that would be it. My clients were too busy focusing on managing their own businesses to worry about training and pitch and presentation skills. So that's what I did. I took a step back. I paused and gave myself some time. Now, as a business owner, it's pretty impossible to switch off for me anyway, totally. So it was always in the back of my mind, but I just wasn't out there. I wasn't promoting myself. I was, just walking, doing my daily 1 hour walk and getting some fresh air and a lot of personal development work. I did lots and lots of meditations and visualizations and lots of deep inner work, really, and found, just kind of was reassessing where I was at. Now, the other thing that happened is that I had come up with, towards the end of 2018, I came up with an idea for a new program called the Red Effect, which is about helping women to be more red. And by red, I mean be more of themselves and develop the confidence to boldly and unapologetically express themselves. So that had been in the back of my mind, and I'd run a short challenge in 2019 around the program and got some great feedback. And I'd really wanted to develop it, but I just couldn't, and I didn't realize until I took that break in the last year that it was because I just didn't have the bandwidth. I didn't have the energy to create it in the way that I wanted to. I just thought, oh gosh, it's just another thing to add to the business. So the magic of taking that time off is that I became much more creative. I ended up like, I wrote a poem which I've just actually put to some video with, and it kind of outlines everything that the red effect is about, really, and the idea that we're feeling a bit challenged in the world at the moment, but there's so much hope and there's so much that we can do, and we just need to tap into being more of ourselves. So yeah, so that's kind of what happened in the break. I sort of got more inspired about that, and so I've now run that. It's a 5-week program, online program, which I've run twice, and it's about to start again in April. And so that happened, and then work started to come back in again, and it's all online now. And I quite like working online. People think that there's a difference, but actually I think it's certainly there's a difference, but it's not a worse experience. I don't think, and a lot of clients have changed. Instead of doing a full day's training, it might be broken up into 8 2-hour sessions over a period of time, which also has its benefits. But on the flip side of that, I've got some clients who are quite happy to still have me deliver a day's training, and the feedback has been phenomenal. And people are surprised that they stay engaged and learning right through the whole day. And it's about understanding the medium that you're working in and just adapting slightly. But I think if you're delivering training and it's all about making sure that there are regular changes and breaks. My training is very interactive. I don't just talk at people. So actually, the more you can engage people online, the more effective it is. And so, yeah, so it's changed in a big way and small ways.
Yeah, and I think congratulations on doing that. I think what you've done is like look at the consistency in delivering your message, but also redesigned your message in a way to present it online. And I think there's so many people out there right now that are starting to jump onto the online platform, how it works. But if you jumped on it a bit earlier and just adapted yourself to it, online working is, in my sense, is more productive. You've got more time scale. You've
Yeah.
got more chance to have an open global reach. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people have mentioned now. You've got
Yeah.
a global audience now you can actually speak to. You
Yeah.
jump on
Yeah.
a plane and fly to Canada or America or somewhere, you can just jump online and boom, you're there on Zoom and you're
Absolutely.
speaking to somebody.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
really well done.
I'm really excited about it because when I left my job originally, it was to set up an online business. And the reason I wanted an online business is because of that freedom and flexibility of time and location. So I want to be able to work from Australia when I want to or anywhere else in the world. And online enables me to do that. And so I'm absolutely delighted that the world has really caught up with that idea and really embraced it. And more of us, I think, are recognizing the value of it and the value of the balance that we can then create in our personal lives without all of the commute and that sort of thing.
Yeah, correct. I think it's you again, you've touched on another point there as well as people are traveling between meetings a lot more now. You could travel maybe an hour and a half to get to a meeting and then an hour and a half back to your office and have that 30 to 45-minute meeting. And majority of the time during the day, you're traveling. Now you haven't really got that big issue. We'll still hopefully go back to that at some point. But I think it does make it right. I've got 3 meetings scheduled today. I've got more chance to research, plan them, and put them into action a lot better. So yeah,
Yeah.
100%, Mel, 100%. Looking at what you do with the pitching, the presentations, the specialist area that you're involved in, because delivering a pitch is very specialized because it has to be done the right way. People think they just do an elevator pitch or deliver it within a minute. What would be your top 3 tips to somebody out there who wants to deliver and make an impact with their networking pitch or their pitch for a business? What would you share with everybody?
Well, I have a formula, a Pitchtastic formula. And there are 3 elements to that. The first one is preparation. Obviously, you need to prepare what you want to say, but quite often people they do that. They prepare what they want to say, but they forget about the other areas to prepare. So things like, how are you preparing your body? How are you preparing your voice to be, it's most impactful? How are you preparing your mind to make sure that you're in the right place? How are you preparing your heart? So because of my background as a performer, I'm really interested in how we use our bodies, our voices, our minds, and our hearts to really connect with and engage with people on an emotional level. So it's that whole preparation, as well as preparing the environment, the space. Where are you going to be delivering that? And I think when people get nervous about it, and whether it's you chat in a networking event, or you have to stand up and deliver that 1 minute pitch, and oh my goodness, the amount of people that come to me because that's the bit that they fear. They're fine just chatting on it with a few people, and as soon as they stand up and they can feel everyone's eyes on them, that's when the nerves really kick in. So that's why people come to me. But I always, with any presentation or pitch, I always like to find out what environment I'm going to be in. And I visualize myself in there. I visualize my own success. I visualize myself delivering it confidently. So this is all part of the preparation part of it. It's not only what you say. Then the next part is practice, because you can't get better at anything without practicing it. So what you don't want to do is get into a high stakes situation. You're meeting this really important person who can have a big influence on your business, and then trip over your words. So actually practicing it so that it feels smooth and rolls off your tongue. And here's a tip too: if you're writing a pitch out that you want to memorize, I would discourage the memorizing part of it, because otherwise we get stuck sometimes. But actually, writing it out can be really helpful. But we don't write the same way as we speak, and we don't read the same way as we speak. So what happens, you see these beautifully crafted pitches that you read really well, but they're not natural, they're not conversational. So it's about, I tend to go through, if anyone gives me a pitch to look at, I go through and I cut out all the ands, and I write it again so that it doesn't look grammatically correct, but it's more in the style of the way we would speak. So the practicing thing, it's got to come smoothly off your tongue, because you want to come across as confident in what you're saying. You want to come across as credible, and clear. So the practicing part is quite key. And then thirdly is passion. The amount of people I see, and they talk about what they do, and they might even talk about how passionate they are about what they do, but there's no passion coming through, right? I don't know why I turn really Australian when I start to make myself less passionate.
And the body language is going down as well. The whole
totally, yeah. So what happens is, we're all drawn to people who are enthusiastic about what they do. We can't expect other people to be interested and enthusiastic about what we do if we are not. So I think love what you do and really connect with that part of you. And if you're not feeling it that day, you've got to find it. It's your job to find it. And we've all got it in us. We can all make a choice. We make choices every moment of every day. We make choices about how we show up, how we respond to things, how we react to things, how we approach things. So it's about, how do you tap into that? And this is where the preparation part going back to the preparation, how do I get myself in that state that I'm coming across as my best when I'm in front of the people that count? So preparation plus practice plus passion equals Pitchtastic. There's my 3 tips.
Love it. Remember that in that order completely from Mel as well. And I think as well, when you're delivering that, it makes that lasting impression as well, Mel. Do you know what I mean? It's, people forget about that first impression. People make the first impressions even before you meet them. And then when you meet them, are they going to have a lasting impression of yourself when you've delivered that sort of enthusiastic sort of delivery as well? So thank you for sharing that. Some great golden 3 tips for everybody to put into action. Looking forward to seeing many people put that into action over the next few weeks as well. So thank you. We talked briefly before the golden tips about, you did a bit of self-reflection, in your business over the last sort of 12 months. Over this time, what's been your biggest learnings to date? Is it been from a connection that you've met, or has it been with a group that you've been part of, or has it just been from your own self-reflection of something that you've read or done sort of training on in business? What's been your biggest learnings over the last few months?
Yeah, I think for me, there's been a lot of shifts personally. So, and that is from taking the moment to step back and reflect, because I'm all about learning. I love learning, and I love getting amongst people and learning and sharing and that sort of thing. But what I realized is that sometimes we can take on advice or get influenced by other people, and we can lose our own self. So I got so and this is how the red effect came about several years ago, because I found myself in this place where I'd just spent so much time doing what I thought I should do and being who I thought I should be in business and life generally, that I completely lost track of who I was. So taking the time out and just really reconnecting with who I am, being more red. My whole kind of thing about what I'm now teaching is what I did, and I stepped back and I totally focused on what is really important to me. Who am I? How do I want to show up in the world? And I uncovered a few things that were maybe blocking me or sabotaging my success in different ways. And I really encourage people to do that. Take time out. And I put my hands up. I struggle to make that the regular in my routine, but I know how crucial it is. So every time I sort of find myself drifting off again and getting stuck into work mode or totally distracted by other things, I have to come back. It's like coming home, come back to me, and to really reconnect with that gut, because I felt like I just disconnected from my intuition.
Yeah.
And part of that is just part of being a people pleaser, I suppose, wanting to feel like I was not getting things perfect or doing the right things. But actually I think the more we lean into who we are, there's the word of authenticity is thrown around a lot lately, but actually it's true. We really do need to be our true selves. And so the Red Effect program that I've developed really helps women to get back to who they are, and just take the moment to think, well, actually, what is my life? What's working in my life? What's not working in my life? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What's important? And then carving out time in the day and the week and the month to make sure that you honor that. So because we can't give our best to other people if we're not giving our best to ourselves.
Good point. And I think it's true. Very good point really shared there. I think many people forget about taking a step out, and we've all been there. We don't have to switch off time. You go in an automatic pilot, and before you know it, 6 months has flown by, and you go, right, what's actually happened in the last 6 months? But it takes stock, if it's a weekly or daily basis, to refer back where you are and make sure you are being your authentic self and genuine with everybody that you're meeting. I think is extremely important. Thank you for sharing that, Mel. Thanks very much for that. And we're always learning on a daily basis. I learned many new things this morning, even just having a chat with your good self as well. So now, if everybody's been watching and listening to us today, how can they make contact with Mel Sherwood to find out more about the Red Effect and also all the hints and tips that you're providing with many connections in regards of delivering their impact message? How can they make contact with you?
Best way is through melsherwood.com, and you'll find blogs and various resources on there. And I'm pretty much on most social media channels as Mel Sherwood. So you'll find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Feel free to reach out and connect. I love hearing from people. So please get in touch if there's anything I can help with.
And just to wrap everything up today as well, what's the next door of opportunity? What's next for Mel Sherwood? What's coming up next, Mel?
Well, watch this space. I am so excited about the Red Effect brand and the whole hashtag movement of Be More Red. So I'm on a mission to help 1 million women to be more red. So to really reconnect with themselves, build their confidence, and express themselves boldly and unapologetically, because I think women will change the world. And we need to give them the tools and the confidence to do that. And that's where I see my purpose, where I fit into the whole part of that. And so I've got lots and lots of exciting things ahead with regard to the Red Effect. So watch this space.
Brilliant. Well, I would recommend everybody who's watching, you ladies out there, reach out to Mel, make the connection, start the conversation, and get involved with the Red Effect well and truly. So thank you very much. And as I said, organize that one-to-one meeting. It's important to find out more about the people that you know and delve into the chapters about the individual, finding out about their background, their experience, and what makes them them and how they can help one another. Mel, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And thanks for being part of our guest lineup on Revitalise Meets.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Everybody who's been watching and listening, have a wonderful rest of the week. Have a fantastic time in regards to meeting people and making those connections. Remember, as always, keep healthy, stay safe, and most importantly, keep connecting. We'll see you again very soon at Revitalise Meets, where I get the opportunity to meet key influencers and business entrepreneurs from across the global business network. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.